Today we've got one of the biggest controversies in world football. Manchester City are currently being investigated for over 115 charges by financial fair play, and this could very well go the way they don't plan for it to go. If they are found guilty, then they could be charged with multiple potential punishments, including massive fines, point deductions, even having their Premier League stripped of them. But there's one that stuck out to me, which was relegation from the Premier League. So today we'll be taking that journey. Manchester City will be moved to the Championship, and we will see how long it takes them to get back up to that Premier League winning glory. So today we'll be seeing how Manchester City do in life after relegation. In this custom database that I have made for this save, it takes away absolutely everything from them, including their stadium, all of their sponsorships and money, and leaves them with a very fat debt after their owners leave. Now they're in about £500 million there after they've sold their stadium, so they've already cleared up a lot of it, but you can only assume they'll clear up the rest by selling a lot of their players. And as you can see, it has already started. Just look at the sheer number of wanted players from other clubs. As you can also see, a lot of players have been listed for transfer, such as Erling Haaland, because of the club's financial position. You can see he's been listed for 64 million, which is not really a lot of money considering they paid 51 million for him, and he has just come off a season of 36 goals in 35 games. Also players like Ederson listed for transfer, and I'm sure there are many more. These players will probably all be leaving in the very near future, because a lot of them are already unhappy to be playing at a championship club and not willing to trust out the process. But the bigger thing here is the staff. As you can see, senior squad staff, there is absolutely no one other than the doctors who have to stay here. This is not going to be good for Man City. All of their staff has left. They cannot afford to pay the wages of Premier League staff, including Pep Guardiola, meaning that the managerial position is open for Manchester City. The wages for a Premier League staff team, especially a Champions League winning Premier League team, is too expensive for Manchester City now. Because they don't have that money in the bank, they will have to go for a lower level of staff, meaning that the coaching team won't be as good, the physio team won't be as good, it won't be good. Now what I forgot to mention to you is that Manchester City are going through 1 year of a sort of transfer ban this coming season in the Championship, meaning that they cannot bring in any players whatsoever. They're allowed to sell their players, but they cannot bring in those replacements. So we've skipped to the end of the transfer window. Let's go check Man City's transfers straight away. And they've started young. Rico Lewis has left to go to Tottenham for £25 million. Then Calvin Phillips leaves them to go to Newcastle for a price of £29 million. This one is massive. Kevin De Bruyne leaves Manchester City to go to Al Ittihad for £35 million. João Cancelo makes his return to Barcelona for the price of £38 million. Manuel Akanji also goes to Real Madrid for £38 million. Ederson leaves Manchester City. He goes to Saudi Arabia, as he was linked to in real life. He leaves them for £41 million. John Stones has left them to go to Saudi Arabia in Al Ittihad for £42 million. Nathan Ake makes the unexpected move to Atletico Madrid for the price of £42 million. Ruben Diaz has snaked them. He's gone off to Liverpool for £47 million. Man City making an £18 million loss, selling them to a rival. Now we're on to the very big transfers. Bernardo Silva has gone to Real Madrid for £53 million. Rodri has also gone to Real Madrid for £55 million. That is a massive sale. Jack Grealish has gone to London in Tottenham Hotspur colours for £56 million. Man City making a £44 million loss. And finally, the biggest of them all, and I mean that literally, he is massive. Erling Haaland goes to Real Madrid for £64 million. So altogether, Manchester City have had to make a lot of sales and on cut prices which you would never see them make in the Premier League. Like Erling Haaland for 64 million, you'd more likely see that times 10 in the Premier League, as well as a lot of these other players. As you know, they haven't been able to bring in any players because of their transfer embargo. But also, the player that they have brought in is Savio, because that is an already pre-arranged transfer. He is staying at the club, as well as this other list of players, including Josko Gvardiol, Kyle Walker, Mateo Kovacic, Mateus Nunes, Phil Foden, Stefan Ortega, Jeremy Doku, Savio, Scott Carson, legend, and Oscar Bob, all choose to stay and trust the process at Manchester City. As you can see, this is how they are roughly lining up for their championship season, with Foden and Oscar Bob up top. It actually looks quite dangerous. I never thought Phil Foden would perform as a striker, but it looks like he is. With Oscar Bob to the side next to him, it looks like they are also retraining him as a striker. And then behind them, a strong midfield in Nunes and Kovacic, with Gvardiol at left back, Walker right back, and Ortega up in goal. Doku are injured right now, but I'm sure he will uptake that right winger role from McCarthy when he's back. So altogether, Manchester City have had an amazing start to the season, but it's kind of expected. They still do have a very high level championship team. They have won all 5 of their matches, lost 0, drawn 0. Will they carry this on and make it invincible at the end of the season? I don't think so, you know. I reckon that they will lose a fair couple of times just because of that lack of defensive support that they have right now in these 2 centre-backs, which are both youth players, I believe, in Samuel and Katongo. Never heard of either of them. So I believe they will both... They won't be as strong as you would expect someone like John Stones and Ruben Diaz to be. It's a big change for Manchester City, and I see them losing a couple matches. But of course, they will win the league, probably go Centurions once again, and make their way up to the Premier League. Manchester City plan to perform under their new manager in Sergio Conceição, who they brought in from FC Porto on a much cheaper wage than Pep Guardiola was. He's the person that they trust to make this process move forward. So I will see you at the end of this season with the championship season results. So we've simulated to the end of the season, and let us see if Manchester City have been able to make it out of the championship and make it to the Prem for next season. And they have 106 points as I expected from Manchester City, but 8 losses. That is absolutely wild. 8 losses, including losses at home. Losses at 3-1 to Middlesbrough, 1-0 at home to Stoke, 3-2 loss at home to West Brom, and a 2-0 loss at home to Cardiff. Like, I know their home stadium isn't as good now in the Joey Stadium, but really? 8 losses? 8 losses? That is a lot worse than I expected, and I'm sorry for saying it, but I believe Man City could very well get relegated next season again in the Premier League. It really and truly depends on how much money they're given to spend, and they're never really going to be able to go back to their spending ways after their previous issues. But there's a high chance that they do get relegated once again after going up to the Premier League. Other competitions, we did leave them in the Community Shield because last season they did still win the league. We're not taking that away from them, big up to them. So we allowed them to play in this Community Shield final, which they lost only on penalties to Manchester United. A big match from Steven Ortega to manage to bring it back, or not bring it back, to defend it until the 90th minute for Manchester City. But on penalties, it didn't end as well as they would have hoped. Other competitions, FA Cup 3rd round loss to Bristol City and a 1st round loss to AFC Wimbledon. I'm guessing this is completely because they don't really have a backup team to be putting out in these cup competitions, so they're just playing whatever youth they have that are fit and ready to play, just so that they can give certain players in the first team time to rest. So will we be seeing more Manchester City players leaving? Will we see them bringing in some good signings? I'll be back with you right after the transfer window to see if they've made anything happen and if they are prepared for the Premier League, because right now they don't look very prepared for Premier League level football, I'll tell you that. So we skipped to the end of the transfer window of season 2, and it's looking a bit better for Man City, I won't lie. I've already seen, but they are 2nd in the Premier League. I am confused. I took away their good players. What happened? Whoa, I don't understand why they're 2nd in the league, but they did take 1 loss to Tottenham at home, who are now top of the league. Let me check who they've signed, because this could be that could be the reason. So for their first signing, they signed Luis Jr. from, I'm not gonna try to say Famalicão. Let's go. For £11.5 million. I don't see why they made this signing, really. I really don't. They have Ortega, but maybe they're looking to replace him. Another Brazilian goalkeeper, so, you know, maybe they're hoping for that Edison rebound. Their second signing being Leif Davis from the now relegated Ipswich. I think this is a very, very good signing. Obviously, I've seen Leif Davis play in real life. He looks very, very good. I think this is a perfect signing from Man City, especially just coming up from the Championship. He could be a massive player which they take forward to the end of this video. Next is another very weird one in Sebastian Vegas from Monterrey in Mexico. For 10.25 million, they got the Chilean 28-year-old centre-back. I see why they buy a centre-back, but I don't see why they buy him. They're paying him quite a big wage as well. £105,000 a week is not little money. So to bring in a 28-year-old Chilean centre-back from the Mexican league for that amount of money, it's a bit of a strange one, but I'm going to trust the process. You know, I'm sure Sergio has something cooking for us. He's second in the league, but this could be one of the reasons why they're doing so well. They've brought in Kieran Dewsbury Hall on a loan with the option to buy, I believe, of £20 million after 20 matches. But right now it's a loan for 1.8 million loan fee. He is a very good box-to-box midfielder in the game, and as you can see by his average rating, a 7.55 in 5 games that he's played, he must be cooking for them big time on a cheap wage as well. I think this was a very, very smart signing from Corençao, so I do rate that one. And the final signing coming in for Man City, Samuel Chukwueze from AC Milan. I don't understand why he would want to leave AC Milan, but actually no, now that I see the game time he was getting, I can understand. Only 9 matches for AC Milan last season, already has 3 in the Premier League. So it might be a very good signing for Corençao. 7.03 average rating so far. It does have a mandatory option to buy of nearly £20 million, so that they don't really have a choice left in that. They're getting him by the end of the season. Could also be another very good signing for him. He has a very proven history of you know, being that flary player, the spark in the team that, you know, every team really does need. He's very rapid, he's got great agility, so I'm sure he could cook up for Manchester City. But for these signings, I don't really still get why they're second place. They shouldn't be second place with these signings, but I guess they were more ready for Premier League football than I would have thought. They might get Champions League, they could even challenge for the league this season. So I'm going to simulate to the end of the season to show you how we did. So we're here at the end of season 2. I'm predicting that Man City did get top 4. That's just the feeling that I have. I feel like they did well, because we saw how they started off the season. In their first 4 games, 3 wins, I believe, or first 5 games, 3 wins. They started off very well, second place when we last checked. I'm sure they got within the top 4. Maybe they dropped off a bit though. Yeah, expected 6th place. But wow, 2 of the 2 highest goal scorers are both Man City players this season. That just shows when Erling Haaland is not around, no one's really competing for it that well. As you can see, Phil Foden and Jeremy Doku top the goal scoring charts, 1 and 2. João Pedro following, then Højlund, Salah, Jamal Musiala for Liverpool. Well, wow. So yeah, there weren't many players that actually got more than 15 goals in a Premier League season. That's weird. That's weird to me. But on to Manchester City. Other competitions, we'll see. Runners up in the Carabao Cup. You know what? That's actually pretty good. I can't get upset about that. Let's go 3rd round. They played against Man United at home with a 3-1 win. That's a big win. Liverpool versus Man City in the 4th round, which Man City won on penalties. That's massive. Liverpool are probably the biggest challengers right now for the league title now that Man City have dropped off, as well as Arsenal. But then they played against Norwich, which they won 2-1. In the semi-finals, they played against Arsenal, which they won 3-2 on aggregate, just to go to the final and lose 3-0. So they had such an amazing run to the final, beating all of the best teams in the whole competition, and then they end up losing in the final to Chelsea. That just says a lot about Football Manager as a game. In the FA Cup, a 5th round exit by West Ham, and also we're in the Club World Cup next season. I don't understand that one. I think that's something that might just be scheduled in the game that in this database I haven't prepared for. But I'm sure it will be an early disappointment from from Man City anyways. So we'll look at the tactics that they've been running. When did Bryan Gil come to Man City? What? 46.5 million. Bryan Gil is now a Man City player for 46.5 million. When did this happen? Transfers. Oh, on deadline day, they made Bryan Gil on a loan for 46.5 million permanent fee. That is crazy. But they also made 2 more signings in the January window. In this Cypriot centre-back from the Belgian league, sorry. Why are they spending so much money on random players? I'm confused. But also Arnaud Tenas from PSG on a loan, who's actually played 14 games. Does he have an option to buy 7.5 million? You know what? I'd be surprised if they don't make this happen, considering that he's actually been starting for them. He's got 4 clean sheets in 14 matches, so that's not bad. You know what? I would sign him if I was them, if you know the budget's right, which I'm sure it is. As we've seen, 6th place in the league and Europa League football, the budget for next season must actually be looking pretty decent. I'm sure it's not as bad as I feel like it is with all that debt. They'll give Sergio a bit of money to spend. So next season, I think they should be easily expecting top 4. You can also see that reputation rising over there. That means that they will be able to bring in a lot more players now that are of Champions League level. And I think, yeah, they can get top 4 next season and just work back towards challenging for the Premier League, which is what they really need to do. Obviously, players like Kyle Walker aging now, 36 years old, so there's not much left for him to do. But they could start to get their replacements in from early, which would be the best thing to do. Okay, so we're here, 3rd season. Transfer window is now done. Let's take a look at how Manchester City have done so far and also what transfers they've made. Alright, so 5th in the league. That's not too awful. 5th in the league is actually pretty decent. It's an improvement already from last season where they were 6th. Not too bad results wise. 1 away loss to Leeds, which wasn't, of course it's not great, but then 2 wins including 1 away match, so not too bad. Let's take a look at the transfers. Okay, so they brought in Arnaud Danjuma on a free signing from Villarreal. This one I don't think is a bad signing, I won't lie. I think he's actually a pretty decent player. Obviously he's not a Man City type player, but right now we have to consider the fact that Man City is quite a mid-table team. So I think this isn't a bad signing. He's got experience in the league. Obviously he played for Tottenham. In real life he played for Everton as well, I believe, but it just doesn't show that in the game here. He's a pretty good player. He's good on the wing. He's played up top as well in real life obviously, but in the game it's not showing that. FM, you really do need to update. But he's pretty versatile. I do like the way he plays. I think he's fast. I think he's good at dribbling. He's everything City could possibly need in a winger. So if he does end up getting some game time, then it could be very good for him. So next up we have Elia Caprile from Napoli, which he got on a free. I don't know what it is with this manager and goalkeepers. He's got a severe obsession with getting goalkeepers in. I don't know. It looks like he's been starting so far, so I can't say it's a bad signing. But I think the fact that he has about 5 goalkeepers in the first team, I don't think it was very necessary. But you know what? Again, you can't doubt the process. You just have to trust that the manager knows what the manager's doing. You know, he could be a very good signing. He could be, but I just don't see it really working out. I think their best bet would be in putting more time into their youth. Someone like Spike Brits, because he's already got all the attributes. He's a model citizen. I think he's the perfect goalkeeper to build around. But I guess, you know, the manager's got some other ideas, so Elia Caprile's in. So the final signing that Man City has made this transfer window is Rodrigo Ribeiro from Sporting Lisbon, a young Portuguese striker, one who I've never really heard of myself, but he looks very, very good. They signed him for just under £27 million. I think that it's a good signing. He's got everything that you could want in a striker. He's got the pace, he's agile, dribbling, finishing, first touch, passing, and the technique all there. That's all stuff that it's kind of lethal for a striker. So I think he's actually a very, very good striker to lead the line for Man City. I'm not sure what type of game time they're going to have him on here, of course, as they have been playing Foden and Doku up top. But I believe he is the right person to build a team around. If that's just my opinion, obviously. He looks very good, and it's a bit weird that, you know, the former Porto manager is signing Sporting players. But you can't complain. You really can't complain, because he does look good. So I'm going to trust in his process. I think that's a good signing. City have made one single sell in the sale of Issa Kabore for 1.9 million. And I think they're ready for Premier League football. They've made some good signings, some that are quite not so good, that's undeniable. But they've made some good signings, and I believe they're ready for Premier League football this coming season. They can get top 4, they can persevere and get that top 4 football, get that Champions League football, which they're dying to get back into. It will be difficult because there is a lot of competition for that position right now. But I think they can do it because the manager's proven himself for the past 2 seasons. I think he might be the one to make that step. So I'll be back with you at the end of the season to find that out. So we're here, end of season 3, and I'm actually quite excited to see how Man City did this season. You know, because last season 6th place, and in their first season of the Premier League, I mean, that's actually very good. So I mean, surely it only goes up from there. Let's get straight into it. English Premier League and 6th place again, sorry. 6th place. 3 points off 5th for Champions League football, and they couldn't do it again. 6th. No. But once again, Phil Foden as top goal scorer of the league. He is next level. Honestly, I've never even thought in the slightest to put him up top in Football Manager. But he seems to be cooking. I won't lie. In the last 3 seasons, he's managed to bag quite a lot of goals, all from up top. So I think that might have to be the next challenge that I try, putting Phil Foden up top in my own save. Because clearly he's cooking under Cohen Ball, bro. But let's go into other competitions that Man City have been in. And nothing else. Knocked out of the semi-finals of the Europa League by AEK Athens. I don't like that. That's poor as well. But as you can see, 3rd place in the league phase qualifications. So that means they only lost 2 games and drew 0. Pretty good. Then they went on straight to the round of 16s, beat Bratislava 6-1 on aggregate. Quarterfinals came up against Besiktas, beat them 4-1. And then I think, honestly, they got the easiest draw out of all of the semi-final teams, and they still bottled it. They lost 2-1 to AEK Athens, who made it to the final. Athens won? Huh? You're telling me out of this semi-final, you see 4 teams: Chelsea, Manchester City, Lazio, and AEK Athens. No one in the world is telling you that Athens would win that. I'm sorry, but it's either Man City, Chelsea, or Lazio. And even if, it would be some upset if it's not Man City. AEK Athens versus Lazio in the final, and AEK Athens won. I can't believe that. That's you know what? I love a good underdog story, man. But 5th round of the FA Cup elimination by Liverpool, and 4th round by Newcastle. Let's see how they've been lining up this season. Still in the 4-4-2. I don't see any random signings now, so it doesn't look like they did anything in January. But you know, maybe it's it might be time for a change of system, I'll be honest. Because this, you know, sure, it worked the first season, but you want to keep improving. I don't think this is the right system to keep improving. So, you know, we have to wait and find out. I'll be back with you at the end of the next transfer window to see how Manchester City did transfer-wise and how they're doing in the Premier League. Okay, finally, Season 4. We're here. Let's go into Manchester City to see how they've done so far. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I definitely can. Graham Potter is now the Manchester City manager. What happened to Sergio Coensao? Left manager role. Where did he go? Oh, he snaked it. He snaked the team. And then he left Graham Potter in charge. No, that's poor. But you know what? I can't say anything too bad. He's 4th place in the league currently. 1 loss, sorry, and 3 wins. Loss at home to West Ham is questionable. But, you know, he's 4th place so far. If it sticks like this, then that's Champions League football by the end of the season. That's a very... Yeah, wow, that's strange. But I think he has been on a little bit of like a career rebuild. You know, he won the Conference League with Aston Villa. And, you know, he did well with Brentford before. So he's kind of like recovered his career from the Chelsea incident, I reckon. But let's go into transfers so that I don't spoil any of the players in his in his team. Starting off with the first transfer that I've seen, João Mario. Wow, he's good. He's a very good footballer. This was from FC Porto, so I don't know if this transfer was still made when Coensao was in charge or if it was Graham Potter, but he is a very, very good fullback. As I'm sure you would know if you saw my last video, I love my fullbacks to be able to cross, to be able to dribble, and to be fast. He is all 3 of those things. He's definitely someone that I'm keeping shortlisted for a rebuild. He looks very, very good, so I'm sure he could be in Man City's lineup till the end of this video. He looks very good. Alright, next we got Jeremy Jacket Potato. He signed, 22-year-old from Lyon first, signed for 20 million. I've never heard of him in my entire life. But he doesn't look too bad. He's still young. He's got time to develop with the club. He looks actually pretty good. He's fast. He's tall. He's got good passing ability. So he's what I kind of like in a centre-back. I think he would work in a 4-2-3-1 system. So if they're actually going to play him, then that's actually a pretty decent signing. Next is another player from Porto. But what? Oh, yeah. So this must have been Coensao signings, but then Coensao left and Graham Potter came in. So let me walk you through it. Man City signed him this transfer window from Porto for £43.5 million. Then I'm guessing Coensao left the club, Graham Potter took over and did not think that he was any part in his plans, so loaned him to Everton very, very soon after signing for Manchester City. Yeah, as you can see, literally less than 2 months at the club, he was loaned out on deadline day to Manchester City with a mandatory option to buy, of 52 million. So they've made profit from that. How have they made profit? I'm confused. They let him go after 2 months. How have they made that 9 million profit? Yeah, what's that? 9 million profit. What? That might be the new meta. Guys, if you ever want to try this in your save, go for it. Sign a player, loan them out with an option to buy that same season. It looks like it works. That's an easy 10 million for a player that was not in their plans. That is absolute. I've never seen that before in FM. Wow. They loaned them out the same transfer window with an option to buy and still made almost £10 million profit. That might be the new meta. But I think this was a signing more suited to the play of Graham Potter. Ethan Ampadu comes in from Leeds United for £32 million. That's expensive as well. But it looks like maybe they'll use him as a DM, maybe they'll use him as a centre-back. That's the great part about him. He's so versatile. He's great in both of those positions and even further up the pitch perhaps. But I think that could be a good signing. Not a player that I would sign. I'm going to say that from now. Not a player that I would sign, but could definitely work for them. You know, he played for Chelsea before, so maybe that's where Graham Potter went with that, you know, that little Chelsea connection. Even though I don't know how many games he actually played for Chelsea. I'm seeing 1 here, so... yeah, that might not be right, but you know, maybe that's that Graham Potter link there, you know, brought him in. Okay, so now it's getting very weird. This is the 3rd purchase from FC Porto that I've seen so far. This one, I think it was Graham Potter's signing though. This is weird. Why is he signing Lucas Torreira? For 24.5 million, he signed Lucas Torreira from FC Porto, former Arsenal midfielder, if that's how you would remember him. You know what? As a defensive midfielder, no, but I can't back it. He's 5'6". Honestly, what does he do if you know Rasmus Højlund's running at him? Do you fold up like huh? 5'6" as a Premier League defensive midfielder. That's where it went wrong for Arsenal, and that's where it's gonna go wrong for Man City. You cannot have a 5'6" midfielder in the Premier League. It's too physical of a league to have someone that short. But you know what? If again, I can't keep doubting the manager like this. Graham Potter might be cooking something up with his 5'6" midfield, so you know, let him cook. And then the final signing that I've seen, Artem Karpukas from Lokomotiv Moscow. Quite a cheap signing from what I saw, just a bit less than 6 million for the midfielder. I don't see why you're bringing a 25-year-old Russian defensive midfielder. He's never even touched one of the big leagues of football. Why? Yeah, no, these signings are very weird to me. I don't understand most of these signings. But Manchester City have made a massive sale in Josko Gvardiol to Arsenal for £64 million. So they're losing 13 million on him. They did get 3 good seasons out of him, but he's still young. They should have made a profit on that. And I honestly think, stats-wise, he was their best player. So I don't see why they would sell him. Again, it's Graham Potter at the wheel. I don't trust him. No, if Graham Potter's driving the car, I'm gonna need a couple more seatbelts because this isn't working out. Next, they finally sold Sebastian Vegas to Nottingham Forest. Thank the Lord. They sold him for 4.8 million, losing 9 million on him after just 2 seasons. But you know, I'm happy that he left. You can't keep the deadwood at the club. Alright, so we have another sale in Stelios Andreu from what a name. Honestly, I can't keep pronouncing that. 24.5 million. They made a little profit on him. I've never heard of him. I don't understand why they signed him in the first place, but a great sale from Graham Potter. Like I just said, you can't be keeping the deadwood at the club because they're not going to provide anything. So other than that, we have a couple loans which I'm sure you'd be able to see here. Hopefully you can. But we're looking forward to this season now. It's going to be difficult. They have sold probably their best player after Phil Foden in Josko Gvardiol. But I hope that the signings that they've made will help the team all round and perhaps get them to that Champions League level which they're looking to get. I'll be back with you right after I've simulated the rest of this season so we can find out together. Now we are here, end of season 4. We're near to the end of this video. Let's go straight into the Premier League. I'm predicting, you know, it has to be a top 4 finish now, surely. You can't go 6th place 2 seasons in a row. You just can't. Oh, it's 3. It's 3. 3 seasons in a row. Manchester City have missed out on UCL football by 2 points once again. It's just not good, is it? They're not even playing good football anymore. I don't see Foden here anywhere. I don't see anyone here anywhere. They're not performing. Graham Potter, I want him out. Get him sacked. Get him out of this club. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's horrible, but we'll go into competitions. I can't, honestly. You gotta win something. Europa League round of 16 exit to Sporting. To Sporting. Alright, man. 3rd round elimination by Watford in the FA Cup and quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. Honestly, it's not looking good for Man City here. I don't see many trophies coming this video. And we only really have 1 proper season left. So there has to be some drastic changes. Even though that media prediction is roughly about right every season, my expectations for the club are to be within that top 4. You can't. No, that's horrible. Graham Potter, count your days. But we'll be simming to the end of the transfer window of the 5th season and final full season of this video. So hopefully they can make some drastic improvements. Also, another thing, they still haven't changed stadium, and I don't know if they will. They are still at the Joy Stadium, I think it's called. I think I pronounced it Joey earlier. Don't get on to me. They've increased the capacity. It started off at 7,000. Now they're at 10. But it's a European football club, and they've got the Joy Stadium. No, there has to be a new stadium built very soon. Again, I'm not sure how finances are at the club right now, but there has to. Oh no, they're still in huge debt. Alright, so I'll be skipping to the end of this transfer window coming, and we'll see how they can do. We're here in the final full season of this save. Let's go into the transfer to see how Manchester City have done so far. I'm also expecting some big results in the league because it's been 3 seasons in a row now of mediocre results. I'm expecting a lot better. So let's go straight into the league. Oh, should I just get up out of this chair? They want me to leave. 16th place. Oh no, it's because of that Graham Potter fraud, isn't it? Oh no, I can't have it. Honestly, 16th place. I'm not even a Man City fan, and I feel violated here. How? How do you end 16th place? You must have good reasoning. Transfers better be good. Oh, okay. I'm starting to see part of the reason why we're down in 16th. One of the only 2 signings in that he's made is Ali Al-Mazrati from Besiktas on a free transfer. You know, why? You're challenging for Champions League football and you go bring in a 32-year-old person who's never touched one of the top 5 leagues in his career. Come on. And second signing, honestly, they want my career done. They want me to get up out of this chair and go find a 9 to 5 because they are not. No, bringing in an 18-year-old Belgian from Mechelen for 12.75 million. They just want their De Bruyne regen, don't they? They honestly really just want their De Bruyne regen. No, what you need experience. You're going into trying times. You need Champions League players. You don't need 18-year-olds that have only kicked ball in the park before. Alright, so now on to the sales. They've sold Arnaut Danjuma for £24 million. You know what? Good profit. They never really played him. He went out on loan the season after he signed. Getting 24 million of pure profit out of him is good money. I still think he's a better player than a couple other players on the team, don't get me wrong, but if he wasn't playing, then it's good money to make for him. Okay, so yeah, now these lot just want to waste my time. So you're bringing in the 18-year-olds that have only kicked ball in their park before and selling the 30-year-olds that are actually good at football. Come on, this is full-on Graham Potter football. This is what he does, and he's like the reverse Midas. Anything he touched turns to absolute dog. It's not good. Why? Why would you sell him to Inter Milan for 49 million? I don't see a reason why. He's one of the only experienced players on the team that can actually carry them forward into that. Actually, I'm saying only experienced players, but I mean only like big time experience, Premier League experience, and they're selling him to Inter Milan. Other than that, they only had a couple loans, which hopefully you can see above my face cam. But I'm not looking forward to this season from Man City. I'm really not looking forward to it. I think Man City will finish 10th. They won't finish in the top 7 whatsoever. Maybe they'll win a trophy, but they're not finishing within the top 10. It's not exciting. I'm going to skip to the end of this season, and I'm hoping for something better than 10th. Finally, this has been one of the most painful videos I've had to make in my lifetime. Finally, we're here. Final season, season 5. Final full season, sorry. I'm not excited. Like I said, predictions were below top 10. I don't think Man City made the top 10 in this season. And I hope that they got rid of Potter, because he's not the right manager, seriously. But let's go. English Premier League. What did I say? 11th place. 11th. Okay. You know what? I'm not gonna judge it because I see that the UCL thing there. And look, no other manager's been able to get City to UCL football. And that's what I'm gonna say. No other manager's been able to get them to UCL football. So Graham Potter might be the one. But what other competitions did he win? Okay, all right. So we've won our. Is that our first trophy of the entire thing? I believe that might be our first trophy of the entire save. The UEFA Europa League it's come home to Man City. I don't know if they've ever won it before, but it's come home to Man City. I'm still upset about the season, but they made 9th in this league phase, having to go for a playoff. Then they went into the playoff facing Sparta Prague, 1-4-2 on aggregate. Then round of 16s, a 4-2 win against Villarreal. Quarterfinals, Man City vs Galatasaray, smacked them 6-2. Semi-finals, Man City vs Rennes, 3-1. And then final, a 1-0 win in extra time against Ajax. That I like that. That's big. That's big. I have to give it to them. A European trophy. They've managed to bring back European success. They haven't been back to the winning ways yet. They haven't gone back to their Premier League winning ways. But they managed to get a European trophy, which, you know, not a lot of Man City managers have been able to do. But into the FA Cup, a quarter-final exit to Liverpool. I'm not too interested in it, honestly. A 4-0 loss it says enough it says enough, honestly. No, I don't need to know anymore. And then quarter-finals also of the Carabao Cup, meaning they lost. Yes, they lost 1-0. Sorry, I got a bit. I zoned out a little bit there. But you know what? Do I be happy or do I be upset? I think I'd be upset because 11th place in the league is the most disgraceful thing I've seen since buttering both sides of your toast. It's disgraceful. 11th place is the worst thing I've seen in my life. So for the sake of the video, I have also simulated the next 5 seasons. We won't be going through them season by season because that would take a very long time. I will be showing you just the end product. 10 seasons into the save, how have Man City got on, what have they won, so and so. So here we are 10 years into the future. As you can see, the year is 2033. I have no idea where to predict Man City for this season because they could be anywhere. They could even be in the national leagues by now. Another FFP charge. But let's go into the Premier League. I'm gonna say by now they should be winning leagues. So I promise I'm going to start fighting people if I see another 6th. But look over here, past winners. It does show Manchester City have won 1 league title. So I can't be upset. They have technically gone back to their league winning ways. And Vincent Kompany is their manager. It explains everything on why they have only won 1 league title. Graham Potter left because he hasn't won nothing else. Oh God, don't. Oh no, he's the England manager. Graham Potter is now the England manager in my FM save. What has gone wrong? Who has let him go? Who's let him be in charge of Man City, Liverpool, and then England? Who has? Why? What's the need to let Graham Potter in charge? Never mind. Then they've moved on to Vincent Kompany. No wonder. They're still in huge debt, but now they've regained that reputation, and I won't be surprised if very soon they look to upgrade their stadium, even though it's been 10 years in this 10,000 capacity stadium, so ticket sales aren't doing them any wonders. But let's also take a look at their milestones, landmarks, I think, yeah, landmarks. So Premier League champions is the main thing. They won that last season. They also runners up everywhere. But since I last shown you, a lot of runners up. You can see Super Cup runners up, FA Cup runners up, again Europa League runners up, FA Cup runners up again, Community Shield runners up, and another Community Shield runners up. But only 1 more trophy since that last time that I've spoken to you guys. That is, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. How have they won 1 single trophy? Never mind. They've won 1 single trophy since the last time. But this is the way they're lining up. They're still using a lot of the players from before, but now they've only gone and brought in Arda Güler. They've brought in Arda Güler for 65 million. Just, you know, it's fine. Only the best wonder kid in the game. You know, it's alright. Arda Güler's in. Tab Sopa's also in. You know, it's okay. Kefren Turam, if they're only one league title. Marcus Leonardo, another great wonder kid in the game. Only one league title. You know, I can't say nothing because they've got an amazing team, but they've let teams like Tottenham win a league. They've let Liverpool win God knows how many. What, 3? Arsenal have won 4 league titles, and Man City have got 1. So that just shows, without money, Manchester City are probably one of the worst clubs in the Premier League. Manchester will always be red. So that marks the end of this video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a massive like below because it goes so far for me. Also leave a comment on what you think of this type of video and any other teams that you feel like I should do this with up next. And also watch the video. Somewhere around watch my last video. It is a rebuild on West Ham United. If you enjoyed this, then hopefully you will enjoy that. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.